replaced with the power money brings pain. No. There's no reason to be anxious. Got to stand up and rise again now. All over the world, people are changing, changing. My God, for the better. All over the world, people are changing, changing for the better. To my people, we are saying, gotta be a better way.
Good morning, Facebook. I think we might not have audio out there. Are you on Facebook, Corey? Can you hear us?
You can't hear?
We're good on Facebook. Hey, how's everybody doing this happy Friday morning? Little chilly out there here in Minnesota.
There it is. Kind of cold out there. Where's Corey going fishing again?
No, he's blowing snow, shoveling snow, moving snow.
No.
That's what's going on with Corey.
Oh, you got that done. No?
What was that?
I gave up because my shit got wrecked yesterday. Somebody hit me. So I just went home.
Yeah, you got to get back at it, though. Back at it today, though, Corey.
What was that, Ed?
I said, but you're back at it today.
Yep, absolutely. Back at it today. I just had to take a refresher.
Well, at least it was just the trailer.
Maybe the receiver hitch, too, he said earlier.
Yep. But that was like the main part of my business besides my truck to move that trailer.
Right, and you did notice that possibly they T-boned the back end of the truck, too, huh? Right between the truck and the trailer. Looks like they got both of them, huh?
Yep.
Oh, man.
I didn't even pay attention to my truck yesterday because of how fucked up my trailer was. And then, yeah, now I noticed that my truck's a little fucked up too.
Yeah. Well, it looks like your trailer's going to be a bunch of spare parts at this place for a new build.
Yeah, it's going to be a scrap trip.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just keep pulling that trailer sideways down the streets of town and bouncing it off curbs.
I could, but it would start wiping out everybody around me. Everybody to the right side of me, look out. So everybody oncoming, go and have a good day.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you're fucked. If I'm pulling up behind you or beside you, you're going to get wiped out.
So were you able to borrow those ramps earlier so you can load things up into the back of the truck? Yay!
That's good.
That's better than a shovel.
Came through and gave me his ramps, and yeah, now I'm in business.
That's real good. Real good.
But when they tipped over my snowblower, I fucking leaked gas all in the carburetor. So this morning, it was frozen like a rock. So I had to take and put a bunch of starting fluid in it to like clean it out.
But you got her started?
Yeah, it's running right now.
Warming up to go out in the
Yep.
cold weather.
What's up, Corey?
And you know how they have signs on the doors that it's masks are required per governor's orders, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The sign on this door says masks are dictated, or you are dictated to wear masks by Governor Walz. This door doesn't give a shit. Welcome was the sign on your door. What?
Say that again.
It says you are mandated to wear a mask by the governors. This doesn't give a shit. Welcome.
Yes.
At the cash, they had masks around their neck, but they didn't have them on.
Yeah, that's not right. And
Damn.
they don't give a shit about you. if
Well,
they don't care about you. I
Right.
personally will go down the street to the next place.
Yep, as soon as I see that.
I'll never go back there now, but damn, I had already pumped my gas and everything, but holy,
Right.
they actually have it up there dictated by Governor Wolf. Like, wow.
It's actually dictated by the CDC. Governor Walz is just enforcing the mandate.
It's common sense.
I'm just blown away. That's some balls, man.
Sorry for that. My grandson was showing me a picture. We had a black squirrel. Sorry.
That's alright. I like black squirrels. My kid thinks that they're his babies. Whenever he goes out there, he's always trying to get them in a group. I'm always yelling at him, don't get more than 3 of them in a group, because then you're a gang.
You're a gang.
I went out there one day and he climbed all the way up the tree, and he's like,
Welcome back, everybody, on this Tuesday afternoon.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
We have queued up interview done by Ryan Winkler, Representative Ryan Winkler, who introduced HF 600 in the Minnesota legislature, talking about legalized marijuana right here in Minnesota for recreational use. And I'll play that a little bit later on here. Good morning, Amy. Happy Friday.
Good morning, TGIF.
Where you been? Babysitting?
Well, I was sick, and then yesterday I was babysitting the babies, so I had my hands full.
You weren't babysitting the adults?
What's that?
Were you babysitting the adults?
No, they're 2 years old and 1 month old.
Oh, they would have loved to do the show. Most of our biggest watchers are little ones. You know?
Yeah, they just had me too busy, and I didn't have my computer, and I couldn't figure out Zoom on my phone even if I tried. So
right,
that's where I was at. I was
it's important to take that recharge and to fill you back up with other things too. So.
Yeah, and I got a million pictures of us with Snapchat filters, having a good time, making faces and all kinds of stuff. So that was a good time. I got to play.
That's good.
Good stuff.
It's always fun to play.
So what did I miss, guys? What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing? I didn't miss nothing? Okay.
No, we're fortunate in Minnesota. Politics moves at a slow pace. So luckily nothing happened yet, but
nothing big happened. Gone.
It's about to. So you're just right on time.
Right on time. All right, I like that. Are we going live today?
We are live, Amy.
We are. We're live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I walked into a live right now.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, everybody.
We all said hi.
Morning, Facebook.
Yes.
All right, sweet.
We're on with this day, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I came right in.
Yep.
Excellent. Well,
I don't know what Corey's doing there. He's driving somewhere, and every now and then, about every 10 seconds, he gives the peace symbol.
Gotta watch what he's doing.
We're still being peaceful while traveling.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. It was, nice. I was looking forward to watching the hockey game last night, but then they had to cancel it because the Wild players got COVID. So that's our sports report.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen the way that they were coming out of the gate right away, and I thought, well, why don't they bubble these guys like they did with the basketball players, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew because hockey's, they're fighting there and they're talking to each other, spitting on the ice, the whole deal. So I figured that was really going to be a way to transmit it. So what I saw was that when we played the LA Kings last week, there was a player that our players were super, what's the word for it, physical. They were physical with him. And then he came up positive for COVID, and I'm like, oh, geez. So then 6 players in the Wild and 1 or 2 players on the Colorado Avalanche that we did manage to play a game with them. So then there's more in the Colorado Avalanche that are going to come out, I'm sure. So, yeah. Sad there's a pause to hockey due to COVID. So Wild got no games now until possibly next Thursday.
So are they saying it came from us, or they don't want to tell you who it came from?
Well, I think that Colorado thinks it came from us, but as far as I'm concerned, it came from LA.
Does anybody listen to K-Fan?
No.
I'm only speculate.
They have a show on in the mornings, and they have 2 of the guys on there. They were talking about this yesterday, and they were saying that one of them his name is Chris Hockey, and they had him on there talking about how the players were being medevaced back when they were separated from the rest of the Wild team. And Meat Sauce came on and was cracking a joke. He's like, well, what's the difference if they were on the plane with them? He goes, because, the medevacs, they have all the sirens and, and lights flashing on them and stuff. But it sounds like they actually did separate them to send them back to Minnesota.
Yeah, they did. When they found the positive cases, they medevaced them back. And then they left the rest of our team in the hotel in Denver in quarantine. So I don't know if they're going to get to come back or what, how long they're going to have to quarantine in the hotel in Denver. Maybe the whole time that they're off the ice, they're going to have to be in Denver in the hotels. So, yeah, this is, never had a global pandemic before. So this is all new to everybody.
Absolutely new times. People need to make adjustments. But, man, really? You go out of state for a hockey game and you end up just having to sit around in a hotel for a week or two? Man, and I bet they're getting paid or something, too.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I mean, it
makes me glad I'm a Blackhawks fan.
Yeah, it's a lot of. They're salaried, so they're paid no matter what.
Yeah, but it's not budgeted for them in their budgets to be held up for a week at a time in a hotel, though. I mean,
yeah, it's
so
true.
that's coming out of somebody's budget.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's a mess, but yeah, I guess I'm complaining that I didn't get to watch my hockey, but I'm sure that the players and the families of the players are having a harder time of it.
Well, I still got to watch my Bon Appetit and my weed shows, so I'm good. I
love Bon Appetit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great show. I love cooking. I love cannabis. I love cooking with cannabis. I like people that cook with cannabis. Oh, yeah.
It's like a win-win-win.
You can teach me stuff there.
That show with Martha and Snoop, too, is pretty good. I mean, they don't cook with cannabis, but...
there might be some special ingredients in those brownies they made, hey?
There might be.
They certainly imply that they cook with cannabis.
They do.
Or while they're utilizing cannabis.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
We should see if we can get Andrew Zimmerman to do a cooking segment with weed.
Yeah.
That would be great. Do you guys know his story, right?
From Minnesota.
He's originally from I believe New York or something, but he was strung out on the streets, a very bad drug addict. And Minnesota saved his life decades ago, and that's how that's why he gives so much back to Minnesota, and he really raises a lot of money for Harvest Heart and some big food distribution places here in Maplewood, as well as they built a new place in I think Lake Elmore somewhere they built a new facility. But Nikki and I had an opportunity to meet with him in the last legislative session. And I would love to see what kind of dishes he would make with cannabis.
Well, he's still real active, I think, with the Hazelden Treatment Center. I don't know. Have they changed their stance on cannabis? Do you know? Because I know back in the day, treatment centers thought cannabis was the evil drug.
Yeah, it was the gateway drug, right?
That's right.
You couldn't get nothing in the Moose Lake or nothing in, if you did the day treatment programs for elders and seniors, or if your mom was an alcoholic and was in the program, and you go up there, and as soon as you talk about cannabis, they push you out in the hall and tell you, you can't come back in here. But I know, because of Andrew Zimmerman and his stance and his problems that he had when he was on the streets, I know that he's changed his tune privately on cannabis, and it would be interesting to see if we could get him to say something.
Yes,
Because
it would. And, like the whole country's view of cannabis has been evolving for years.
Yes.
And people that were against it before have now come out for it. Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, these heavy hitters in the political field that have been obstructionists are now getting in on the action because they know how to make the money now.
Right.
We do have some local artists that have done some cannabis cooking and things like that too. We'll have to do some reaching out, people. Please, send them our way. We'd love to interview them or just have them on as a guest and, shoot the breeze, as they say.
I've never cooked with it really, so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Daryl.
I tried to cook with it, but usually when I try to cook with it, I end up smoking it before I put it in the pot, So by the time I get ready to put it in my pot, it's already gone, and it's like, oh crap! Now I gotta get more. By then it's like, I'll just
a good cheesecake recipe that I gotta get.
Cheesecake, yeah.
Yeah, he makes some pretty good cheesecake.
That sounds good.
It does.
It is.
Have you guys seen that? There's a show called Roll It, or Let's Roll It with Tony Greenhand. It's a guy who rolls these incredible joints. He made a replica of a Titanic that was smokable. The whole thing was smokable, and it was the size of a coffee table. He makes these incredible joints that are smokable. He made a smokable pizza where each slice came out and you could light it on one end and smoke the slice of pizza. So it was it wasn't real food, but it was all made out of papers and,
Right.
and edibles and stuff. I was I think it's all smokable though, not edibles. But yeah, that show is amazing. There's only a few episodes, but we've been watching it, and it's crazy what that guy comes up with.
Cool.
But yeah, that's something I was trying to think about. I had to run and ask my husband what the name of it was, but the guy's name is Tony Greenhand, which is the best because he uses his hands to create all kinds of things. But it's really cool because the Titanic one, we were just sitting there and they're pulling out the smokestacks and they're each a smokable joint.
You got my lighter?
Everything. It was.
What is this on microphone?
I can't even manage to make a regular joint. Can't even roll a regular joint.
Right.
Rolling pizzas.
I haven't tried to roll a joint for a long time. I should try to do that. What's the 11?
Yeah, I was doing that too. We had a little contest when we have a big party in the spring. We had a contest one time where everybody had to try and roll, and whoever got the best one won a prize. So we just had a bunch of packets out of my dining room table, just papers everywhere, and just 10 or so people just doing their best. People that were lined up waiting to judge.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm not good at
They're
that.
not waiting to judge. They're waiting to see which one is going to be smokable the first, right?
Well, those were the judges. That was the judges.
Yeah.
They smoked them all and decided which one was the best.
Right. What? Make sure you get the tight one.
Yeah, like you don't want one that's got like a carb in it where it's a hole in the paper where you got to put your finger over it while you're smoking. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's a
I remember those ones, yeah, where the stem just pokes through it just a little bit.
Yeah, something
Or
pokes
never
through your...
try to vacuum pack joints because they're not smokable afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not smokable.
No, I bet they would crack and break and have all these air holes in them.
Oh, you can't pull air through them because you pull all the air out when you vacuum pack them.
Ah, yeah, that's no good.
Well, you should play that, Ed.
All right, I'll pull that up.
You
I
muted.
muted Ed.
Yeah. Did you guys want to listen to me? You want me to pull up that Ryan Winkler interview? I'll do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hold on just a moment here. Let me find it. It's not a video, so
I'm gonna
it's...
get some more coffee.
Yeah, I gotta pour myself my first cup. I haven't even had coffee yet.
We better do that then.
First things first.
All right. It's reloading.
Welcome, everybody, on this Tuesday afternoon. Chad Hartman with you on News Talk 830 WCCO. Let's revisit a topic that we have discussed many times, and if you listen to the show, you know where I stand on recreational marijuana. I think it should be legal, behind other states, and I think there is a way to do this and be smart about this. House Majority Leader from the DFL, Ryan Winkler, agrees, and once again, as we've seen bills proposed before, is proposing a bill to make recreational marijuana in the state. Ryan, always a pleasure. I appreciate it. Why is this the time to bring the bill up once again?
Well, legalization is coming, whether Minnesotans want to have that happen or not. With the vote in November in South Dakota to legalize cannabis there, it shows very overwhelming Republican support for the issue. And it also, I think, creates a situation in which Minnesota's border state is going to have cannabis available, and Minnesotans will easily be able to go there to get it. So unless we get this right, unless we put together a policy that addresses the problems with our current criminal prohibition, we are just going to be reacting to what is happening other places, and it just doesn't serve Minnesota well to sit around and wait for it to happen to us.
We've watched polls change. I know there was an NPR poll that showed it about split, but I know other polls have been more favorable to it. You talked about Republican support. In the reporting I've seen so far, it appears you have one Republican legislator with you, Pat Garofalo. For this to happen, do you need significantly more representation to not just get the bill passed, but to inspire the public, including Republicans, to get behind it?
Well, we are just getting this started in the Minnesota House. By the time this bill goes through all its committee stops and gets passed in the House, I think we will have a bipartisan bill. The real question is not whether we can get Republicans to support it. It's whether the Senate Majority Leader, Paul Gazelka, is willing to let this bill get a vote in the Senate or not. And unless the Senate leader is willing to let this issue come forward, then there's not so much that we can do to get it passed or the public can do to get this enacted. It really requires Senate Republican leadership to be on board.
So when he said, talking about Majority Leader Gazelka yesterday, I would not consider legalizing recreational marijuana as a Minnesota priority, isn't he pretty much saying we're not going to address it?
Well, that's what he's saying. He has shown some openness on the medical program, which doesn't work very well right now, which is better than what we've heard from him in the past. And I also think that we haven't had this bill go through the legislative process. We haven't had an opportunity for the public to weigh in a meaningful way and start reaching out to their senators. In the end, I think Senator Gazelka doesn't want to be caught in a position where it looks like his own personal political ambition is the reason why this bill isn't getting passed.
It is legal now, recreational marijuana in 15 states. I've stated many, many times, I believe it should be. Here is my one hesitation. We have people smoking right now. We obviously have hundreds and thousands already who are doing that. If marijuana becomes legal, you will have more. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount, but you will have more. You thus have the potential of more people driving while impaired. It's happening now, but you have the potential. We still don't have a definitive test to determine the balance of THC in your system and how much it affects you. On the safety side with driving, and that part hasn't been achieved yet, does that give you any reluctance?
I think it's a fair concern, but as you point out, it is a problem right now. And the current criminal law approach we take to cannabis prohibition creates a lot of other harms. We are arresting people very disproportionately based on race. We are criminalizing an activity that a lot of people think benefits their health and makes them feel better. We are wasting resources in law enforcement, and there's just a huge racial injustice issue here. So we have to balance potential harms. We are definitely concerned about driving under the influence, and we are providing in our bill additional resources for drug recognition experts in law enforcement so they get the training to see and recognize impaired driving. But I just think it's important to remember that people can be impaired for lots of reasons, including legal prescription drugs, and we don't say that we should criminalize all painkillers because there's a potential impairment problem. We're just not seeing this as a huge issue in states that have legalized already.
Take us through how expungement would work and how promptly that would take place if the bill passed.
Yeah, so expungement basically means your criminal record is wiped clean. And the way the bill is structured, we have automatic expungement if you have a conviction for a misdemeanor or a petty misdemeanor on your record related to cannabis. So that would just happen automatically. If, however, you have a higher level offense, a felony offense for a cannabis crime, we set up an expungement review board who is supposed to examine records to determine whether people should be up for expungement or not. Because some people with felony cannabis records could have weapons charges or other felonies tied into their charge. So those have to be handled more on a case-by-case basis.
Ryan, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I want to hear what the audience has to say. We definitely will reach out again.
All right. Thanks for the time.
That's Majority Leader Ryan. Okay, you know where I stand. Dan and Adam also have stated before they believe recreational marijuana should be legal. Are you with us? Do you think it makes sense to join the other 15 states? Why? But if you see it differently, I want to hear from you also. Text or phone call 651-989-9226. Mr. Carter is tied up in the news.
Well, folks,
That was interesting. I'm glad you played that so I could hear it.
Yeah, I need that. And
That was
Ryan,
very interesting.
the bill author.
Ryan definitely gave us a charge in that conversation. He said our issue is with Gazelka and the leadership in the Senate. So what I heard there is that we need to target Gazelka. We need to write letters to him. Get our friends, family, get anybody we can to write letters to him and telling him that we want you to hold a hearing in the Senate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I'm not really surprised that that's the one that we have to talk to, you know, paying any kind of attention to local politics. But
I'm not either, but here's what I fear is going to happen. Okay, because the House has already signed on and they put 35 members on their bill, right? Because that's the amount that they can have, right? because they're going to say that there's no movement in the Senate, then they're not going to want to move in the House. And what I'm saying is, if we put pressure on the Senate, particularly Gazelka, then he's going to get mad. He's going to go back to the House. He's going to tell the House to hold hearings because Gazelka doesn't want the pressure on him at that moment. So that's going to start the ball rolling. So that's why I said it's going to have what is happening now is they're kind of playing ping pong. Like Ryan said, well, I did what I could do. I put the bill out. Now our issue is to tell Senate leadership to do their job.
Yeah, and leadership, we're all constituents of the leadership like we were talking about earlier. So we can all call Gazelka's office. We can all text message Gazelka. We can all phone call him and tell him, let this bill get to the floor.
Or even not let it get to the floor. Let it have a hearing so that the concerns that you think are there can come out on the table and we can deal with them one at a time. You know, like adults. You know.
Well, and like they're saying, we're not the first state that's ever considered this. There's other states that have legalized recreational
15.
for years now that we can look at as like an example, and like we can kind of put down some of these doom and gloom predictions.
Right.
People have said because they haven't happened in those states. These things have not happened. It hasn't been a big, huge deal of high driving, you know, because let's be honest, people are driving around all the time now under the influence of cannabis.
In 15 states, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and like, let's be honest, people are doing it in states where it's not legal, and they're already doing it. It's not really causing a huge side problem. I mean, I think people are doing it. I'm not sure. I can't be sure, but I think people are still doing it. So it's not a problem now. It's not going to be a problem when it's legal either. And if we look at these other states, they're not seeing the big problems that people are so afraid of. They're running around screaming about. We're not seeing those problems in these other states. So I think it's like, it's time to show that it's not something to be scared of. It's something that we're going to be left behind on if we don't get together and get our state to put forth something that we can all agree with the Minnesota values.
Just imagine all the other states around us, they're going to be making money. They're going to be raking in money from our people. And we could have been digging in their pockets anyway, and we could have been keeping the money in our state and keeping it local, you know?
Yeah, we're going to see South Dakota have weed tourism breaking up, you know,
real soon.
Out. They're going to have all kinds of money coming in from our state, from people in our state that are going to South Dakota because they, you know, that state makes sense with their laws where we don't.
Well, luckily South Dakota doesn't produce very good weed, so I'd probably still skip over that state, go to Colorado or Arizona or somewhere where I know they produce some good, you know.
If you're going to do weed tours, you might as well go to some place better than South Dakota. But I see what, you know, the point is that we're going to be the bubble, the only place where it's not legal, and it's going to be legal everywhere around.
Right.
Minnesota's missing out on all those chances.
Yeah, I understand the cops will love that because they're going to target our borders, and they're going to tag people as they come in and out. So it's going to be a revenue producer for them. So we need this money because look at all these people coming in and out of our borders.
To be honest, though, I mean, wouldn't cops like to focus on other stuff?
You would think so.
They don't have enough staff to deal with violent crimes, with gun problems, you know, rapes, assaults, that kind of stuff. Do you think it would be nice to just kind of forget about the pot smokers and go after actual criminals? Because like the police departments would have so much more resources available to go after people who are doing violent crimes.
But let's think about why do they go after pot smokers? Because it's an easy ticket. They're not that dangerous. They don't generally carry a bunch of guns and weapons with them. Try to flee the scenery. So it's easy to go after potheads. It's not so easy to go after a meth head or a crank dealer or somebody that's dealing in high level narcotics.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, it's no fun because I feel like there's a lot of people that are stuck in this situation where they're being forced to become criminals, where they would like to be law-abiding citizens. I'd like to be a law-abiding citizen that goes to a store, that pays taxes on my purchase, and helps my state instead of giving money to shady people who I don't know where that money goes. And I think that that's something that has, like, as a state, we generate this income, and this opportunity is happening right now. Criminals are benefiting from it.
Right.
But if we would take this business and legitimize the entire business, not only would not be criminals benefiting from it anymore, but it would be the state. It would be getting taxes. Can you imagine, like, everybody who's out there pulling down money as a drug dealer suddenly is an illegal drug dealer, an actual legal drug dealer,
Right.
and then they've got income to pay income tax.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got all this money that's legal money in the system now in the state that's doing things to benefit our state. Versus right now, it's all happening in the under the table area, and it's not benefiting us. It's not giving us money for education in our state. It's not giving us extra tax revenue.
No.
It's occurring right now. Minnesota is missing out on the ability to legitimize it and make it a completely new business that can support state.
Yeah, so
I think that's the point.
So we need to publicize Gazelles every day that we're on live, and we need to tell everybody to call it if you're in Minnesota, or if you care about Minnesota and Minnesota's program, call it. And
All right, folks, down there.
he'll get irritated with us, but then he'll reach out to us eventually.
Well, and conservatives, they should be for it as far as, like, the conservative platform of smaller government. Like, not have the government tell you what you can do and what you can't do. Like, don't have the government tell me that I have to be protected from some kind of substance when it's been proven it's not dangerous.
But they want to go
Let me have the brains in my head to make that decision.
Right.
For some reason,
or at least let it be between you and your doctor and your team. I mean, whoever your team is, it may not include the government. So.
Right now, our state trusts adults to manage alcohol.
Right.
And I mean, that may or may not be working, but it still is. They're trusting adults that are over 21 to make a decision on how they want to use a substance that has intoxicating properties. I mean, that seems like a good thing for adults to be able to choose. How do you choose if you want to use this intoxicating substance or not? Versus the government being like, oh, no, we don't think you should do that.
Yeah,
You have a beer or a couple oneies. I mean,
look how long it took us to get Sunday liquor sales, though. I mean, that's because
they don't buy alcohol. No.
Well, that went into like us losing money over the border too with the Sunday.
Right.
We had to see.
I was up in northern Minnesota where the Wisconsin bars are open 2 hours later. Everybody would go over to Wisconsin every night. It's been happening for years up here.
Yeah.
The bars up here said, well, hey, maybe we should stay open till 2 a.m. And they finally did, but it took, out of my adulthood, it took 20 years for that to happen.
Yeah. Yep. And there's a lot of resistance to it that is just boils down to we never have allowed it, so we don't want to. And that's just dumb.
that school shit going on right now.
Well, we don't allow legalized prostitution either, but in some states we know it works. We know it's a revenue producer. We know people all need love, and in some cases it works just fine. So I think we should just legalize everything across the board, and we should just regulate it, or at least figure out how to regulate it on our own, and make sure that the money stays within our own borders, within our own programs. And then when they're big enough, then we can share it. Then we can do a joint venture with Wisconsin or a joint venture with Iowa if we want. But let's get our feet on the ground first and get money in our pocket first.
I agree. And as always, I am Team Minnesota.
Well, last night, Republican in the state House, Representative Jeremy Munson held a Zoom town hall, should we call it, and he talked quite well about HF 600 and legalizing cannabis. And he even had an online poll. I'm not sure if that poll is still open or not, but I can screen share the results of that poll. Just a second here. Let me figure out how to screen share again.
And I thought the questions were enough detailed, and even enough to get conservatives to come to our side as well. So I mean, I thought the poll really had good stuff in it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask who else besides me, and I know that Ed probably filled it out too. Who else filled it? Because I wrote a novel in the pros and cons section.
Sure.
I realized after, I was like, whoa, this is going to be a lot.
I started doing that, and then I was like, well, I know nobody's going to read this anyway. It's just going to get put into some algorithm.
Are you guys able to see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, as you can see, there was a majority, 60 to 40 split between female and male in the poll. It's not 50-50, but at least we're seeing, what the breakdown was. In the age group, surprisingly, it's split very evenly across, the spectrum. I wouldn't say that there would be any overrepresented age group. The 18 to 25, I'm not surprised with that, just because typically 18 to 25-year-olds are not so interested in politics. Anybody else have any insight on that?
My generation has been more of a biggest one.
Local politics, I think maybe sometimes they're not as aware, but I think that they have a mind to be in politics for sure.
Right.
It's just that they might not be aware of this local politics thing, might seem a little bit dry, and they wouldn't have access to this poll.
Right. Well,
yeah.
It obviously is very overwhelming that if marijuana was put on the ballot in Minnesota, it would pass. I mean, this right here, 630 to 277. Again, we're just under 1,000 people taking the total poll, but still, that's an overwhelming majority of the population that is for recreational marijuana being on the ballot. And then the whole issue of employers being allowed to drug test, it really got split between allowing them to and not allowing them to. I think there has to be some allowable stuff because
right, for insurance reasons and transportation reasons and infrastructure.
Just like we don't want people to show up, all wasted on booze. We don't want them to show up all wasted on pot, to do some very critical things like transportation, for instance, Daryl. So
Agree, yeah. That's a sticky situation because it is almost case by case, because you do have to keep in mind that the test that they have right now to determine if you have marijuana or have done cannabis in your system, it can go for a couple of days. So it's not an accurate perception of you are high right now. It's more of you have done it in the past. And when it's recreational and there's a weekend and there's days off and stuff, I think that's sticky because we have to have a way to prove that they're high right now before we can say that you're not allowed to be that you can be drug tested out of your job.
Absolutely. And then this next question is right to that, because if you're a medical patient, you should be allowed, in many workplaces, just like if you were on other medications or coffee or tobacco, it all alters your states, or too much sugar. So the medical cannabis program in Minnesota, I think there's an overwhelming number of us here in the Chosen family, the Wake and Bake crew, that feel that we definitely would go for having a much less restrictive program. It's sort of, well, in my words, our program sucks. So you can see that.
And be careful about saying that, Ed, because that program that you say sucks. I helped create that program, and it took me 25 years to create the most sucky program in the country.
I'm glad that we have it, but there's room for so much improvement, Daryl. And you did a great job. It took that long to get the minimal passed.
There is great room for improvement, but here's how improvement happens. It's not by adding conditions once a year, or it's not by allowing a task force to come and do their little presentation to the legislature. It's about passing a bill such as HS 600 and the comprehensive packaging that they have to get it passed through when they're dealing with commerce, and then they're dealing with how do we regulate it, how do we test for it. When we start to talk about that bill on a real level and a real level of passing, then the medical marijuana program will have to come along, and they'll have to greatly be improved. But it won't happen if we continue to say, well, that program sucks. And for that program sucking, I spend about $500 to $700 a month on that program. And that program allows me to vape wherever I need to, and I don't have to worry about smelling like pot all the time, or I don't have to worry about taking time to clean my bowl out and clean my pipe out so I can get a good hit. So, I mean, yes, it does suck. Yes, it's very regulated. Yes, it's very costly, but it's the best we got right now. And I spent the majority of my adult life making sure that it happens.
Thank you, Daryl, for doing that too. So you would think that maybe because this poll is so overwhelmingly pro-cannabis, that it would be a whole bunch of like people in the marijuana parties in the state voting for it. But if you look, the majority of the people, 64%, are registered Republicans. Okay? So again, with that many Republicans being pro-marijuana, you would think Mr. Gazelka should really go ahead and take note.
No kidding. Wow, this is showing him that his own party is for it. This is a part that this page is the only one that surprised me so far. That's amazing. Well, and to see that this, because wow, I guess I should stop talking because I'm kind of speechless.
So what I would do, since it's got a couple people speechless on this part, is I would copy this page right away, take a screenshot of it, put it into a little quick email to Gazelka and say, have you seen this? Can we talk about,
along with the page that says that they overwhelmingly would vote yes.
Can we talk about this? And I bet you within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll get somebody to email you back and they'll say, yes, let's talk.
And then we're back at the beginning, and again, a whole bunch of female Republicans are behind recreational adult legalization for Minnesota. I'm very happy for that.
I am too, and it shows what we talked about earlier in a couple meetings last week. We talked about how women, I always said that it was the mothers that broke up in the medical marijuana program and convinced Dayton to sign a medical marijuana program. It's going to be the women this time that actually tip the scales and make recreational marijuana in Minnesota. It will be all women that will be leading that charge and be tipping those scales. So mark my words, you don't see it right now, but you will see it very soon.
Well, it seems to be like, I'm not trying to draw a generalization, but Republican women in that age group, which is my age group, seem to be that we're more likely to be managers of the family. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So as moms, as wives, as domestic engineers, we know that the household runs nice and smooth when it's lubricated by cannabis.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
When mom's got her meds, everything seems to be okay, right?
Well, not just mom, but everybody is to calm down.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned last night. I was on another Zoom call about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and Nikki was yelling at me. She's like, "Honey, you've been telling me that you're gonna pack a bowl for me for the last 2 hours. Why haven't you done it yet?" I'm like, "I just been on these calls. I'm sorry, da 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 da." And finally, one of the people I was on the call with, she says, "You got to stop, Daryl. You got to stop. You got to give her some medicine, and then you can come back to talk to me." So I literally stopped my call, gave her some medicine, and then I went back to talk to her. But
got to take care of your wife for sure. That's job number one.
I was like, "Honey, you can do it just like I do it." She's like, "Yeah, but you're sitting there doing it while you're talking. I need help." And I'm like, "Okay, let me help you."
Yeah, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. I saw Camille there for a second. She's popping in and out.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Camille?
Y'all? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Not busy at the moment, but I've been pretty
Friday.
busy.
Do you have a fire
Stuff.
going? Friday
I do.
fire?
Hey guys, I gotta
Fire's
jump off
crackling.
for a second.
I love that.
You jumping off or you jumping on?
I'll
No,
open
I gotta
it for
jump
you.
off for a minute.
Warm because you got less
Oh,
than
all right.
5 minutes.
Fucking hot.
See you.
Woo.
Noise.
That's the hot one.
Oh, Jen's
hot one.
picking up.
Yeah,
Anybody-
it's burning.
Anybody remember what temperature it was in here earlier?
Cold. The fan wasn't even spinning.
Yeah, but what was the temperature on the thermometer?
I wasn't here yet.
It's cold out. I don't know.
You can't give us a memory test, Camille. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't smoke beforehand.
Was it 4 degrees?
It was like 20 degrees
Oh, okay.
Ooh. What is it now?
in my shed.
What is it
Here.
85.
My car says
Oh.
9 right now.
So I'd say almost 70.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's 69.
It's like 65, I want to say. Yeah.
Good
69
job.
is here, though.
Come on,
Definitely
69.
cozy.
It's a lot warmer in there now.
And I'm kid free today, so we chilling.
You said you were kid free yesterday, but then I seen a little one.
Mary's always here every Tuesday and Thursday, but today she's at school, so
Well, she's in quite the little gymnast.
she's pretty cool. She's a fun little girl.
Allie would love to play with her like that. Allie's really good with kids. So.
Oh, yeah. You gotta get like a kid play date together or something.
Yeah, we gotta be building this jungle gym pretty soon. When spring comes around.
You're gonna build like a play thing out in your yard.
Yeah, I got a climbing dome.
Fun.
Oh,
I'm so excited to build that thing. Oh my god, I cannot wait till the snow's gone.
Pretty dope. It's kind of heavy.
Oh, cool.
It says like mech lift on it. It says don't lift unless you got, friends or, muscles.
Get some help with that. It's heavy.
Well, you got both. You'll be all right.
Start taking parts outside.
Oh, no.
You got both. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I'm rearranging my game room / kid room, like where I take care, because the baby's going to start coming 2 days a week to my house by the end of the month. So I'm like rearranging it now, and I'm like, I got this big old chest that's in there, like this big. It used to be one of those, you know how the TVs used to be inside of a piece of furniture, and you'd like open it in the front, and the TV would be in there. Like it's one of those. There's no TV. It's all just open in the middle. But I want to get rid of the thing. It's ginormous, and it doesn't do anything for me. I want to.
Well, I got a big fire pit.
We'll call that Plan B.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I have a bonfire started already out in the field.
It's still like really nice, and someone might want it, but I don't. But I'm like looking at it like it's gonna take me every bit of my strength to wrestle that thing out of the spot where it is and get it out of my house.
Put it on Marketplace. Somebody will probably come and take it out of there.
Yeah.
Use it for a toy box. Put all their toys in there.
I mean, I could. I've already got this really cool organizing thing. Like this whole wall of that room is organizing lockers that I got from IKEA, and that's got all of the toys and everything in it. So it's like
I got an idea. Okay, so like the TV part is empty.
My mom put dividers in it so you could use it as shelves, but I could pull those out easy.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, like, either you can make that like hollowed out so it's a little cubby, so the kid can like chill in there, you know. Or you can put like little tools on the wall and make it like a fun zone, you know. Little toys, not tools, toys.
Toys, yeah. Right now, my cats really like it with the compartments because they go in the separate compartments and attack each other from them.
Exactly.
It's so big, and I want to put a desk in there so I have an office.
Amy, do you know where the museum got those lockers from? Because I wanted to get a couple of those when they switch them out.
Let me tell you, Daryl, those lockers were a pain in the ass. So we threw away the old ones that we had, confident that we were going to be able to buy new ones. And it took 3 years for the museum to find any place that would sell those kind of lockers to them.
Crazy.
Because they're all the new modern ones, like in the Science Museum, where they use as credit cards and codes and all that.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to sell those old-fashioned throw a quarter in the front of it lockers anymore.
No.
And the museum was determined to get those kind of lockers and only those kind of lockers. So 3 years is what it took. And for the longest time, you remember that wall was blank. And we didn't have any lockers. And we had those stupid coat racks. And that was a big mess. And so then we had to get the lockers. But yeah, 3 years it took for the museum to get those lockers.
Yeah, I know. And then when I asked them about it, all they did is send me to the security guard. And the security guard was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, well, then you weren't the right person for me to talk to.
Nope, you needed to talk to like somebody that was in charge of the building or something. Somebody who was in charge of visitor services would have been able to tell you that.
Actually, I tried to go there. And then,
I could have told you.
Yeah, I tried to go there, and then they told me to talk to the restaurant guy that manages the restaurant, and he was like, I just deal with food. I don't deal with that. I'm like, I know, dude. I'm just trying to do.
Clue.
Right.
Sorry, you got to run around. You should just ask me.
Right. I would have. Now whenever I go in there, I always look for you. I looked for you last time. You weren't there when I was in there last time.
I won't be there again. I'm done. I don't work there anymore.
Well, that's too bad. But
yeah, they laid me off.
Yeah. Well,
I worked there for 7 years. I got a form letter.
Yeah, but now I get to see you every day on this show, so it's even better. So.
Even better, because now I can like be fully myself.
Right.
Hey.
I did meet a lot of really cool people through there, like not, obviously Daryl, who's like the coolest person ever, but I've met lots of other really cool people through that job. So, and I loved it, but it's just a period of my life that's over now.
Right. I get it.
So, just funny, just now, it looked like Jody was handing what she was smoking over to Daryl because you guys were next to each other on my screen, and Jody put it off to the side right when Daryl's hand was there. It looks like y'all were passing it over.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
trying.
don't
We're
know if
trying.
everybody's in the same spot, like on everyone's screen or not, but for me,
No,
it turned out
not-
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it looked cool then, I bet.
It was
I
great.
hope Corey's okay down there.
Nice job plowing.
Yeah,
Yeah, when was
thanks.
the last time we saw Corey and not just his car? Where is
Well,
where's
he's snow
Corey?
blowing. He's taking care of business.
He
He's
needs
gotta
to come
clear snow.
inside and take a warm-up break or something. Hey, Corey!
and also because his trailer got T-boned, now he's got to load his snowblower into the back of a pickup truck, up and down ramps everywhere he goes. So
Oh, that sucks.
at least he
That
bought.
sucks that somebody hit his trailer.
Hitch.
Yeah, that got bent too. He said, "You bet."
That's terrible.
I was hoping you'd be back though. Maybe have a strain of the day for us to look at.
Was it due to like the slipperiness of the weather conditions or something that somebody slid into his truck?
They didn't
trailer?
stop. It was a hit and run.
Yeah, sounds like they just kept going. Oh, and they went.
Well,
they kept
that's
going,
skunky.
Yeah.
They had a reason to keep going, I guess.
I guess that's not Minnesota nice.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a dark gray SUV or something, I guess.
I slid off the road a little bit yesterday. I ended up on a sidewalk when I was trying to drive over to babysit.
I seen your post about that. You said you slid off getting the kids or something. The grandkids.
Yeah, I was driving to their house. The parents of the babies, my niece and her boyfriend, had to go to the tax place and get their taxes done. And of course, they didn't want to bring the little kids, so I was headed over there to watch them. And when I went around the corner, I was turning left, and my car had some understeer, as they call it, and it just slid very gently and smoothly, like it was an ice skater, right off the side of the road, gently over the curb and onto the sidewalk. Didn't hit anything. There was nothing in my way. I just slid. It didn't even make like a bump over the curb. It just slid so nicely on a snow. And I just kind of looked around like, okay. And I just put it in gear and drove out. Well, that happened. No damage or nothing. I got a high enough car. It's a Subaru Outback, and it's all-wheel drive. And it's got enough ground clearance that it just slid right over the snow with no problem, and then drove right out of it, no problem. So, lucky
ground
me,
clearance is
no big deal
important.
there.
You're lucky.
I wasn't even late getting to their house to watch the kids, so it was all right. And I was glad I didn't have the kids with me, even though nothing happened. But it was.
Hi,
good.
Camille.
Oh, hey,
Hi,
here we go. We got a
Ginger.
2-for-1 now. We got
Yeah.
a 2-for-1 on Ginger's cam.
No wonder it's so hot in there.
Hey,
It's so
feels
hot in there.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm actually stripping layers off. I'm shutting my heated jacket off. I love it.
how come I didn't get invited?
Saying I got like the best friend ever.
Ah,
Ladies, how come I didn't get invited?
Ginger, is that a heated jacket? That's so cool. My husband just bought me a heated hoodie, but it doesn't fit me. It fits him, so I'm a little suspicious. But
Oh yeah, I would be
one
too.
at my size.
I would be too. We have to send it back though, because it's a Oro, and the battery pack actually goes in the pocket, and the cords right here. There's broken wires in it, so
Oh,
it's got to get sent back, because if it doesn't sit just right, it'll shut itself off. And I'm like, oh hell no! It takes 5 minutes to warm up.
right. Yeah. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
of that.
Get that
Well,
exchanged.
we paid enough for it. They're gonna replace it. It's a lifetime warranty, so
Good.
Good, good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm always cold though, so I don't like to do a lot of stuff outside in the winter like I used to, because with my condition, it actually makes it worse, and it's really painful to be cold. So this way now, I can go out on the 4-wheeler and be outside and not hurt as much.
Yeah, that's cool. That's way cool.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
should get one like that for snow.
Right?
There you go.
Because it heats across the back and across the front. I mean, it heats. Oh, I
Yeah.
love
Yeah, the hoodies like that too. I really like it.
Smokiness under you. Hey, I would have helped to build that thing there, girls.
it.
Which thing? Which thing?
Oh, yeah, that's not till spring when the snow is gone.
Oh, yeah.
She's making me wait.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta anchor
I
it.
wouldn't know how to fit it through the door, so I'm like, I'm not trying to put it together and like. It's,
We couldn't put it together and
Yeah.
we could in there.
Maybe.
But I
But
don't think
It's
so.
not warm enough.
Hello. Nope.
Yeah, if you gotta anchor it all into the ground, you gotta wait till the ground thaws for that.
That's a springtime fun day.
I don't know. I think it's heavy enough. It, you know.
Oh, it just kind of pulls it down by its own
Oh,
weight.
no, we'll have to anchor it because we'll be playing on it most of the time. We ain't gonna lie, man. We'll be honest about this shit.
You gotta test it.
We gotta definitely see that video. That we should have one of those, like they had the old fashioned barn raisins where they go out and raise a barn. We gotta have like a jungle gym raisin where like all of us gals get out there and build a jungle gym and then hang from it like idiots.
Jungle gym raisin.
Jungle gym
day.
raisin day. Yep, there we go. I love it.
Heck yeah. Yep. We'll have a community jungle gym raisin. And then we can all hang from it and take pictures of ourselves hanging all over it.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Till somebody puts out a kneecap or something. Oh, hey, Ash. Ash is here.
Oh, then it's really fun. Then you get to swap around.
That's a big puppy.
Get some dog loving. You want to get behind me? All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a backrest.
I got
A
one.
living backrest. Oh, he's just investigating the whole couch right now. Yeah, I don't think the dog's ever going to be able to go back to being kenneled for 8 hours a day. So I think that my full-time job now is dog mom. Because the whole pandemic with nobody leaving, the dog is not going to be used to being able to be left alone again.
Yeah. Well, I've been with mine at home for years, so they'd really freak out. You know, they go in the kennel for a few hours when we go somewhere, but that's it.
Yeah, like there's been only a few times where all of us have been out of the house, or like if my husband's working in his office upstairs and he's taking calls, he doesn't need to be dealing with the dog. So if I have to go out during those times, I'll kennel him. But it's most like an hour and a half, and our home, the dog can be with them too. So
Yeah.
there'll be a change of pace when the kid goes back to college, but at least there'll still be two of us here to make sure the baby gets taken care of.
Absolutely. Well, it's almost noon. Let's go ahead and wrap this wake and bake morning up. Maybe we'll see you later today. If not, we'll definitely hopefully see you Monday morning. Come on back, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all come back now here.
Bye.
Peace. Have a good day, Facebook and everybody.
Love y'all.
Peace.
One God we must be counted to be united as one. In this land we are discounted. Got to end our division amongst men now. So many have been replaced with the power. Money brings pain. No. There's no reason to be anxious. Got to stand up and rise again. Now, all over the world, people are changing. Changing, my God, for the better. All over the world, people are changing, changing for the better. To my people